Alrighty then, boys and girls. Yo, what it do, GG Nation, GG Legion. It's your fella again, Strauss man, the GG. And yes, the boys are back in town. Sorry about it's been a long minute since we had a podcast. You know, I had some family vacation and things going on. Lou had some things going on, but we're back. Sony Showcase. Welcome to episode, I believe it's 74 of Golden God and Friends. We're going to talk Showcase. We're going to talk predictions, our own predictions, and some over the internet. I'm going to specifically referencing a Twitter user going by Rhino the Bouncer. I don't know if he really has any inside info, but I always see rumors from him like every day. So we're going to use that. You can follow him at Rhino the Bouncer. Show him some love. Again, we don't have any inside info, but we're going to have some fun with our prediction show and stuff like that. It's always one of my favorites to do, but a Sony Showcase Wednesday. It's about an hour, a little over an hour. I think it was like an hour 8, hour 10. So it's going to be a big showcase. We haven't had one in a year and a half. I got my partner in crime, the tribal chief himself, Lou. How you doing, Lou?
Good. Doing well today. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
I was holding that one in for a minute.
Were you?
Yeah. I felt a slight sneeze and cough come through, but
yeah.
So we're good.
We good. It's good to see you. It's good to be back. I just want to go, before we dive in and all the fun and all the Twitterness and the silliness, let's go over some of the obviousness of what I think will actually happen. Actually, let's get your first thoughts about it. What was your first reaction to hearing this? Because we've been waiting for this for a while, right?
Fucking finally. I've been waiting for this. I don't even know, what's it been, a year now since they had
about
one?
a year and a half. A year and a half, because we didn't have one like last year. We had one right before the PS5 dropped in September, and then we had one right after the September after that, and nothing last year.
Yeah, ever since then, it's been nothing but rumors that there's gonna be something. It ends up being nothing. I think they have their own state of play every once in a while.
Yeah.
And
the last one was a while ago too, right? We haven't seen that in a minute.
Yeah. I mean, everything finally comes through. We can see what's coming over the next couple of years, what they're working on. Exactly what's gonna be the future of Sony until probably the Pro comes out, and I'm excited. So
yeah, that's a good point, because I do think that's a big thing happening. I think the Pro will be a real thing. I think it'll be a real thing. I was excited, man. I always get excited when I hear Showcase or any type of event that's happening. Obviously, E3, a big one we didn't get to talk about. E3 got canned. It's gone. So Microsoft is having something in June. I'm assuming Nintendo will have something. This is a big chance for Jeff Keighley and his Summer Game Fest to really go over the top, right? Really be the big boy. Really be the big boy that's going on, because he'll pretty much have a lot of the attention to himself. But Sony got out of the gate first. They're doing it. They're doing it first. I'm excited. I think it will be really big. I think it'll be really good. There's gonna be some VR2 stuff, so that's always gonna take some time.
When's his showcase or his show? Keighley's. Is it in July?
In June. It's the mid-June to June to July, August type. I think it's sprinkled with. I think it's starting in June, if I'm wrong. You could be right. It could be July, but it's really, really fascinating, really fun to see what's going on with no E3. And I know it's a bummer, man. I grew up watching E3. I get excited my shift after work, talking to everybody in the other group chat, and be excited, talking about, oh man, the game's catching luckily Sony usually went one of the last or later events, and I would get to watch that fully. It's always exciting. to see it. And they put on some really good shows back in the day. So I know people really miss that, but it's E3. If you guys really don't know, E3 is really for like investors and the businessmen. It's for a lot of money. It became bigger than that. It became a fan thing. Sony really leaned into the fan thing, and that's why those shows were really good. There was very little talking, and they just get right through it. So this is about like an hour and 8. This is long. So I know it doesn't seem like much, but you got to think there's no talking. There's nothing like that. They're getting right into the games and stuff like that. So it should be exciting. I don't want to think like of course, it's not going to be the greatest thing. There's going to be some stuff people don't like, announced and things like that. And there's a lot of left unknown. We don't really know. So I don't think they're going to have every single studio. So I just want to kind of set that. I don't think every single studio is going to be, present here, or anything like that. So it's exciting though. It's exciting stuff. So when I heard it, I was like, yeah, and I couldn't wait to hop back on here. Finally got everything figured out. We're ready to roll again, baby. So let's get into it. I want to start out with some of the obvious ones for me personally. I don't know if you have any obvious ones, but I put some down here. I had about 4 obvious ones. For me, this is the easiest, most obvious thing. Spider-Man 2. I want to talk about Spider-Man 2 right off the rip. I think we'll completely see it full-fledged out here, gameplay. September release date review is coming out this year. So I really think that's a given. What do you think about that, Tribal Chief?
Yeah, I think it's a given. I think we'll see. I don't know if we'll see gameplay here, but I think we'll see.
I think we will. I think they opened the show with it.
Because I was thinking that they would do like a gameplay type of showcase in like August, for Spider-Man, just for Spider-Man.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point. They did that for Horizon. I think they're gonna go big though. I think they know what people want.
Yeah,
we've already seen 2 CGI trailers of this. I think we're gonna see a release date. Insomniac's gonna go big. I want to go on a limb. I want to say we'll see Venom, either as playable or some sort of form in this reveal. Venom. I think it's the most obvious thing on here. We're all going to see Spider-Man 2. It's definitely going to be here. There's a lot of other things I have in mind, but you'll see in my predictions that will probably not come to fruition, but I really feel like that's an obvious one. And the next obvious one for me, Mortal Kombat 1 gameplay. Everybody thought it was going to be Mortal Kombat 12. We all thought. They kept teasing it. The clock, it skipped 12, went to 1. Another reboot. We saw the reveal CGI trailer last week? Or no, like a couple days ago, right? A few days ago? Thursday, I think. Looks freaking dope. Looks awesome. Sony likes the gameplay stuff. They usually always get Mortal Kombat gameplay. It is more Mortal Kombat fun tidbit. Mortal Kombat is more popular than Street Fighter, Tekken, or any other fighting franchises out there. It's kind of crazy to think. It is huge. Mortal Kombat is big. I think we'll see our first glimpse of gameplay. It's a cis fighting game, kind of like Marvel vs. Capcom 1. So I'm interested to see how that works with this. Fully rebooted again. Slight spoilers for Aftermath, Mortal Kombat 11. Liu Kang becomes the new god of time over Raiden. And this is where this thing sets off. But it's like the God of War thing. It's like a continuation, not a continuation. It's like a reboot thing. But it's exciting. I think that's another given for me, personally. You got anything to comment?
Yeah, I think those are pretty much a given. I wouldn't be surprised if they started the show off with Spider-Man 2.
That's what I think, too. I think Spider-Man 2 starts the show. That's personally,
I think this is going to be a marathon of exclusives for both console and VR too. I think we're going to see a marathon of exciting stuff for Sony over the next couple of years.
Yeah. You mentioned this off camera. This is like their phase 2, right? We don't really know much next year, right?
Mm-hmm.
We know Spider-Man's coming this year, but what's next year? I got 2 more things, obvious things, really quick. Were you going to say something else? I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna go ahead and say the obvious ones that I thought of, but go ahead.
Yeah, I got two more really quick. I'm sorry. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Stellar Blade release date. We saw the only time we've ever seen this game is the last two Sony showcases. I think we'll get a release date. It's rumored this year, but I'm gonna actually go on a limb. I think it's gonna be the start of Phase 2. It's a Sony third-party exclusive. Bayonetta, pretty ladies that are killing demons. It's made by a Korean studio. Game looks really good. Looks, I could say stellar, right? All right, guys, all right, let's grow up here. Grow up here. But Stellar Blade, I think we'll get a release date, but I think it starts Phase 2 off in January. I think this is like a January, February release. I don't feel like this game's making it this year. What's your feeling on it?
Yeah, I don't think we see that this year.
Yeah.
I think we might see that the second quarter of next year.
Yep.
I
Okay.
think second quarter.
All right. My final obvious one. These were my four obvious ones. A Blue Point something. I don't know what. Blue Point will have something here. I feel like it's an obvious thing. Last thing they did was Demon Souls remake for the launch of PS5. Still a stellar looking, some people still say the best looking PS5 game is Demon Souls remake. Stellar looking game. Excellent, excellent game. Perfect shot for shot remake of that game. I feel like they're doing another remake, but I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a Bloodborne. I don't know if it's that Metal Gear Solid 3 that's been rumored, which I'm assuming we'll talk about later, but I think that's another obvious thing is Blue Point will be here. I don't know what, but what do you think?
Yeah, I think they'll be there. I know they've been working on. I totally forgot about them a little bit
Yep.
because they're like what the remake studio is what we call them, right? So
They literally are. The last two releases have been Shadow Colossus and Demon Souls.
yep, I forgot about them, but yeah, I mean they might be there. I don't know too much in particular what they've been doing, so it
If
could
you
be
could have any remake in the world for them to do, what would it be?
the God of Wars.
Okay.
I probably would have them do the God of Wars from PS3.
In past podcasts, a year or two ago, we've heard a lot of stuff that they kind of want to do their own thing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's a Bloodborne remake, and then they're doing Bloodborne 2, which would be like the Holy Grail. I feel like they wouldn't do Bloodborne 2 without Miyazaki involved at all. I know I don't think he's super busy. I mean, they're probably doing the Elden Ring DLC, but I'm sure they've had time to work on this. Or at least have him look over something. I think Bloodborne's coming back in some way. I just don't know if it's a Blue Point thing. But I feel like Blue Point's going to be here. Because, like you said, I think a lot of people are kind of forgotten about them a little bit. It's been really quiet on their forefront. And, the last thing we saw was 2.5 years ago was, Demon Souls remake. And they've been really quiet. They're working on something. Supposedly their studio expanded. They're working on something. Those were my four obvious things. What about you, young tribal chief? What were some of your obvious things?
The couple of things that come to my mind, obvious, I think we'll see. I don't know how much we'll see, but I think we'll see Death Stranding 2 here.
Yeah.
I think we'll see something of that. I don't know if we'll see. Apparently, what they showed was a little bit of gameplay, but I didn't see it from what they showed. I don't know if it's ready. Maybe that'll be something in the future.
Yeah, because that game's supposed to be slated 2024, right?
Yeah.
I'm with you, though. I think we'll see. Kojima loves to promote his stuff. Sony loves to promote their games, too.
For me, though, as I mentioned, I don't know if I mentioned this already here, but I think we will see the next phase of Sony, as you indicated earlier, that I said off camera. I think we're going to see not necessarily release dates, but what is coming and what we should be excited for. So with that, I also think that we will see the Wolverine. I think we will see more of that here.
That's a good segue. Go ahead, continue.
I think we will see. I think we will see some of the stuff that they're working on, like a that's not gaming, which is the God of War show. I think we will see.
Oh, really? Interesting. So
Yeah,
you don't think this will be all games?
I don't think this will be all games. No, I
Okay.
think.
I
I
don't know if
think.
they reported it right because they already said. I think it's supposedly PS5 and PlayStation VR only. I think.
Right,
But
right. But
go ahead.
some of
Continue.
the stuff has been cooking for a little bit, like the Twisted Metal show.
Yes, that's a good point.
So
Good point.
so so maybe we see that. I think that that's a little bit obvious that we might see something there. If not, we will see something soon.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, we already saw a little trailer. So with Samoa Joe,
Yeah.
but um,
I don't think a lot of
gosh, it
people
was,
know he's Sweet Tooth yet, though. It's interesting.
no, I don't think so. Um, gosh, there was one more in my mind. Oh, I think we see another, and I know some people are probably going to be tired of this already. Another little trailer of Final Fantasy 16, just so Sony can show off that that they have it. I guess you would say.
No,
So
I think that's a safe bet. I think you might see. I think you're right. It probably won't be too long. Like it's not
yeah.
going to take. I know they just had a, not a showcase, but what's it called? State of play of it not too long ago. That was the last one, which I think was like a month or two ago, right?
Yeah.
A while ago.
And you know what? I'm going to save this one because I'm not entirely sure if this is exactly something that's guaranteed to be there. So those are my three
Okay.
in the show. Those are my three in particular that I think we'll definitely see a sneak peek of.
You brought up a great point on Wolverine. I think there's a good possibility we'll see that here. Right on the Bouncer had a lot of info on this game, or a lot of hypotheticals.
Well,
And it
there's so
was
much going around about that game.
there is.
Uh,
We don't pretty much nothing. And it was a
right.
big surprise, right? Like last showcase, we like, oh shit, Spider-Man 2, and then this came. We're like, what?
Yep.
Dream come true for me as a Wolverine and Spider-Man fan. Are my two favorite characters. They're both getting excellent games from an excellent gaming company. But supposedly it's aiming. What he's reporting is it's aiming for mature rating and tone, semi-open linear world like God of War. So it's not full open world, but semi-open world. Combat features dismemberment, so probably decapitation, limb. It looks like they're going to mature Wolverine. Supposedly Brian Horton's the creative director and Cameron Christian's the game director. I don't know who those two are in Insomniac. Don't know. So I mean, if anybody knows, let us know in the comment section. I don't know if one of those guys did Miles Morales or not. Respects the DNA of what makes Wolverine popular, but with Insomniac's fresh take. Fall 2024 launch, PS5 only. Obviously, PS5. So supposedly Spider-Man 2 is PS5 only as well. There's no PS4 version of that game. But that's what he reported on this, and I found that very interesting. AM rating, which is awesome. I like Wolverine's always, I think, a lot funner as an M-rated character with dismemberment, his claws, his regeneration health. You can do crazy effects of his healing ability. Like fingers and stuff blowing off and regenerating and shit. Like really, really interesting. What were your thoughts of hearing that fresh right here? Would you like
I think
that?
it's yeah, I definitely would like that. I think it's what you have to do, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think you can really censor Wolverine.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, like, can you really censor Venom?
It's a good point. I'm interested. He's kind of one of those guys that's super violent too, kind of like Carnage. But I don't know. I think Spider-Man 2 will be a teen-rated game. I know Sony doesn't care about M-rated stuff. They do it all the time. Most of their games are.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
I think Spider-Man 2 will be teen-rated, though. Doesn't mean we won't get a Venom spin-off game. I really feel like these two universes are going to be connected, Marvel really wanted a gaming universe to kind of happen, and it kind of fell apart a little bit with the Avengers launch and stuff like that. That game shutting down pretty soon, right?
Yeah.
And it hasn't been alive that long. The Guardians of the Galaxy game doesn't get enough love because of the Avengers game. That game's really good, really really fun. We had a fun spoiler cast, Lou and I. You can go check that out on that one. I want to, since we were just talking about Wolverine, something came into my mind. I feel like Marvel's gonna do a deal with another Sony studio. I think we're gonna get another...
I was gonna ask you. If there was another game that you would like Sony to work on from Marvel, what would it be? I was gonna ask you that.
So you're just running the show now? No,
no, I was gonna ask you that, but you were in the middle of your
yeah. It's a great
talking
question.
Here, so
it's a great question. I like that question, and I feel like Sony is gonna get another Marvel game. That they're building a Marvel gaming, the MGU, a Marvel gaming universe, which is really fresh. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is what, 12, 13 years old at this point. It's been a long effing time, right? Marvel, for whatever reason, really good video games are few and far between with gaming, and they've got a hit with Spider-Man. They've got 3 Spider-Man games currently on work right now with Insomniac. Insomniac just ballooned in size, right? So 600 people or some crazy, atrocious number. I think I saw that reported not too long ago.
What are 2 games that EA is supposedly working on for Marvel? I know one of them is Black Panther.
It was Black Panther with Captain America in that game, and I forgot the other one. I think it was Iron Man, wasn't it?
Yeah, I couldn't remember for the life of me what it was.
We talked about it on a pod before, a while ago. A while ago, I think we did. If I had the choice, it's a little I don't think it's super obscure, but I would go with Daredevil. I just don't know what studio would do it. I don't know what studio. I'm gonna put Insomniac on Daredevil. Not Insomniac, sorry. Sucker Punch. I'll put Sucker Punch on Daredevil.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, because of their infamous background.
Yeah, because they've done superheroes before. I know he technically doesn't really have powers, but I feel like they can make a cool, stealthy Arkham style, brutally violent Daredevil game. Because
I was thinking Captain America would fit for Sony, a Captain America game. A guy that can, a guy that's like a brute that can climb little walls and hang on to
the finger strength. Sony loves the finger strength.
Finger strength. I just felt like Captain America, but I don't know if they would want that, considering that EA is working on a couple of games there, right? So,
is there a non-Sony studio you would like to see? I know we talked about this before. I have one in mind really quick to let you think. Capcom.
Okay.
Deadpool.
Deadpool,
because Devil May Cry. They know how to make action games, so have the Devil May Cry guys do a Deadpool game, and I think they could knock it out of the park with the action combat. It would be insane. It'd be so fun. Or you could do the people that do Bayonetta. They could do a Deadpool game. I would like to see a Deadpool heavy action game. But I feel like, man, I think we're going to see a lot of surprises in that Wolverine game, though. I think it will be connected to Spider-Man in some way. There'll be some interesting Easter eggs, and I do feel like we'll see some characters that you want to see, like Deadpool and stuff. I think they're setting up something.
So what I would like... I feel personally that Sony's the best. If you're going for a single-player game, I think you go to Sony. Mm-hmm. First and foremost. Man, this one is tough because I wouldn't give it to Square. Mm-hmm. I don't trust EA, as especially with the Star Wars game recently.
That's such a bummer, yeah. Too. It's such a bummer.
That's a good question because Remedy's doing their own stuff. I'm trying to think in particular.
Remedy's really busy too. They're doing the Max Payne 1 and 2, and then
I
Alan
want
Wake 2, and they're doing what's it called? Control 2. That's
Rockstar and M Take Two. I don't really trust, but I would like to see them.
I feel like
But I think
Capcom's a good fit for Deadpool. I think they would really knock that out of the park, especially if you played the combat in Devil May Cry 5. It is insane.
Right. The one thing is I think they got a lot of projects that they're working on. So I would want somebody that would give their company a boost, and they would work on it and care for it.
The way you're thinking, though, it really feels like Sony. I really feel like having that hunch that Sony's going to get another one. Maybe even two. Who the fuck knows at this point? Marvel's probably looking and like, man, you really took care of Spider-Man. This Wolverine game's shaping out to be really good. I bet it'll sell well. You know what? Maybe we'll give you a couple more IPs. Like, who do you want?
Well, the other thing too is they did the Iron Man VR game, right?
Did that do well? Marvel would say to them. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying you specifically. I'm saying what Marvel would say to them.
Yeah, but I'm trying to figure out what they're doing, because what if they get like Captain America and then Captain America? Then EA's doing a Captain America game. That would just be fucking retarded. Like to have two Captain America games come out, one from EA, one from Sony.
Yeah,
or a Black Panther game.
That's why I don't think, necessarily they'd get Captain America. I think they would go Daredevil, Deadpool.
Right, but I mean, like when you get a superhero, you don't want to get a superhero that someone else already had.
Yeah, like overlap. That's what I'm saying. That's why I think Sony would lean in towards more, Deadpool.
So to answer that question, and to answer the previous question, I probably would if I sat down with Xbox, I probably would give them a shot, and I'm gonna tell you why I would do that, because I don't trust the other ones, because some of them are working on some other stuff, and some of them have games out there in particular that like this Star Wars game in which they fucked up. They fucked up a little bit. Not the story, but the way that the game came out. They rushed
the bugs and not letting them push that game back,
If I can get them to commit to working on this game and then seeing where working on this game with whatever studio they feel comfortable with, and then seeing an outcome of it, I probably would give it to them, just because I think that would help Xbox. I think they need all the help they could get. I know that they got Bethesda and Activision stuff, but the grass is not always green on the other side right now, and Xbox is learning that. Again, we're probably going to be waiting another 2-3 more years before exclusives can start rattling off with Xbox. So I would give them a shot. And say, I'll give you this IP, and you go run with it. Now that I don't know what exactly I would give them. Maybe I would give them Daredevil.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Man, I would love to see a Daredevil game.
Maybe I would do that, but for Sony, I would probably give them a Thor game.
Thor? Yeah, Thor would be fun.
I give them a Thor game. Yep, and I probably would give that to.
I just feel like they're gonna stay away from those Avengers, man, because of that game coming out. That game that was out already. I think they're gonna try to take normally solitary people and kind of branch them out, and then build like how you traditionally would want it built.
Well, I understand that marketing wise, it's a bad idea, but I think Sony
they can make it work though. They could do a Thor game like that.
Sony can make it work and make you forget about the Avengers games if they presented well.
Who are you gonna say for Thor? Because I feel like that's another sucker punch. Infamous, Cole, Lightning. Like they've done that before.
I probably would give that to the God of War team.
Okay.
I probably would give that. Yeah, I probably would give that to them. I like the way they did door there, and I think they got a good grasp of door, like the idea of how to make a door. You understand, like how to make him feel powerful. I mean, that guy was, you know, not in the best shape. But let's be quite honest. Like you make a good, handsome door, that has a story, a meaningful story behind it. Maybe add a couple of adventure characters here and there. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. It'd be interesting. I just that's my gut feeling though. I feel like Sony's getting another one. If I had to place money on it, I feel like that's a safe bet. Like there's gonna be
Yeah.
another IP. I want to talk about third party because a lot of the show is gonna be third party games and exclusives. I feel like it's particularly at least some sort of exclusivity third party wise. We already talked about Stellar Blade. I want to talk about Capcom specifically. Are we gonna see Resident Evil 9 Apocalypse here? Um, is there a
Well,
possibility to see Resident Evil 9, or is it too early to see Dragon's Dogma 2? To see, Resident Evil 4 DLC, remake DLC, which I think is a thing.
Dragon Dogmas 2 is funny. I don't know if we're gonna see that one here. If
Okay.
we do, it would be great. But the fact that they had an announcement for an announcement that just showed a picture makes
Yeah,
me
a
think that
t-shirt.
they're
A
like,
t-shirt, yeah.
yeah, they're a little bit of ways. But um, I maybe we see that there. I don't know if it's ready. I think we might see something there, but maybe late 2024. Yeah, we see for Sony it would be just the fact that they'll show it off first, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm thinking with the third party is that look, we showed it off first at our showcase, and then they laugh, he. You know, I think that's what happens. Yeah, maybe. I think it's a realistic idea. Yeah.
I'm just thinking. I think there's a high possibility um, for at least the RE4 remake DLC, the Ada DLC, the Ada Wong DLC, Separate Ways. It's already kind of
Hmm.
in the files of the game already. I don't know if we see 9, like Resident Evil 9. Resident Evil 9 supposedly is going to have Chris, Jill, and Claire in it. I'm trying to find the exact notes of it. Because I think Rhino had it all detailed. And this guy, he tweets so. I mean, he has so many things like on here.
So,
Yeah, go
there
ahead.
was one that I was thinking of as a third party while you look that up real quick. Who showcased GTA 5?
You mean 6?
No,
Or
no,
you
no.
mean
Who showed back in the day PS3, Xbox era? Who showcased it first?
GTA 4 was Xbox? I know the guy had the tattoo. Remember?
Yep.
I'm assuming Grand Theft Auto 5 was on Xbox, and then the PS4 version, Sony showed it at their show, the re-release.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see GTA 6 here.
I mean, it would be really interesting if that's an actual thing. If they actually do have Grand Theft Auto 6 on here, it is I'm with you. I think it is a possibility because there's a lot more stuff coming out about it that it's not as huge as Grand Theft Auto 5 was right from the start. Like they're gonna constantly add to it over the
Yep.
years. So I think that's a big possibility. And
Rockstar's
I can't find anyone.
Rocks.
But with Capcom, I think the Separate Ways DLC is going to be a thing. I do think it's probably like too early for Devil May Cry 6. Maybe it's a little too early for Dragon's Dogma 2. Maybe they get the actual gameplay trailer or just a teaser trailer of Dragon's Dogma 2. Resident Evil 9, I think it is too early, but it's supposedly going to have Chris, Jill, and Claire in it. That's the big one, and maybe one of them doesn't make it. Supposedly, I think one of them might. Well, I don't know if they'll do that. I don't think they have the balls to do that. To be honest with you, they've had their opportunity to do that. I do think they're gonna remake Resident Evil 5, but there's no chance that's here. I'd be shocked, absolutely shocked. I would like them to remake some other games too. I would like to see Dino Crisis, Code Veronica. I would like to see, man, what was it? It was in my head. Devil May Cry 1. I would love to see that remade. I think those could be really good. It's a chance to bring a lot of franchises forward and bring them kind of back a little bit, especially with Dino Crisis. Obviously RE is a moneymaker. They're making a lot of money. RE4 remake was excellent. It's going to be
well, Resident Evil is hot right now.
Yep.
Like you want to ride the hot hand.
They're gonna make a lot of money off. They already made a shit ton of money off RE4 remake. RE4 remake's gonna get nominated for a ton of Game of the Year awards. It's a very popular game. It's super fun. It's super fun to speedrun. It's a way how you remake a game but make it better for how today's gameplays are. Today, and they did a really great, fantastic job. We'll talk more of it on the spoiler cast, but I feel like we'll see something from Capcom. I don't know if we're going to see more Exo Primal or anything, some of their newer IPs, which I don't know if that game's going to do well, Maybe that'll be a free plus game right off the rip. Who knows? But they clearly put a lot of money into it. But I think people love dinosaurs. But I think they just want to see Dino Crisis at this point, and I think they can make a lot of money with Dino Crisis or Devil May Cry remake, Resident Evil 0 remake, Resident Evil Code Veronica remake, stuff like that. I feel like Capcom is going to be here at some point. I just don't know exactly, and I just don't think it will just be the Ada Wong thing DLC for RE4. I think they'll have some more surprises for us because this is an hour-plus long show, at least hour and 10. I think if they're gonna be there, I think they're gonna do Monster Hunter stories too. I think if they're gonna be there, if they did, that would be sick. I would really like that. I know a lot of people really wouldn't, but I would like it. Oh, we're missing the big one. You just brought up Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter Rise has been done. Mm-hmm. World's been out for a long time. There's no more DLC for Monster Hunter Rise. This might be a time to see whatever the next Monster Hunter game it is, whether it's World 2 or whatever the hell they call it, Monster Hunter Universe, whatever they want to call it. I think that's a good chance to see that here. I feel like we might see the next Monster Hunter next gen, true next gen experience, not a port of a Switch game or anything like that, a new next gen Monster Hunter. I think it could be unveiled here because Sony was the first to show Monster Hunter World. I think Capcom's they're gonna have some stuff. I think that could be it. Let's go back to GTA 6 because that's a good thing to bring up. Because I think Rockstar could be here with some sort of presence. I know they've been really quiet. There's been a lot of leaks on that game. I'm interested to see GTA 6, and I'm assuming it will come out way better than the definitive edition of the Grand Theft Auto trilogy. That's definitely one that the A team is working on. GTA 6. For sure. They've been working. It's been rebooted quite a bit, right? And it's supposedly Vice City, right? We talked about this on the pod before. Supposedly Vice City. Supposedly cartels. Some Cuban characters you play as. You switch between both. You play as a cop and then a Cuban character. You see both sides of the story. Supposedly. Not as big as Grand Theft Auto 5 from the start, but eventually will get bigger as they expand the game. It's been so long. If you would have told younger me in 2013 that we would see Grand Theft Auto 5 on 3 generations of console, I would have called you crazy. But we did. They've been on 3 generations of consoles. They don't want to let go of 5 because it makes so much money for them. But I think it's time. We gotta see 6. And there's been a lot of traction trending towards this, but it could be one of those things that it's a miss, right? It's a miss. But I just don't understand why they don't, for GTA in particular, right? Why don't they release single-player GTA games and then release new versions of GTA Online? Yeah. So this one's set in Vice City. This one's set in Liberty City. I know they're milking it online for as much as they can, and that's, and it's working. It's not ending. The money train is still there. It keeps going.
Yeah, and it's very unfortunate for us because I think when I was a kid, how many GTA games came out? Right? It was
A
like
lot, almost every. They had like Vice City Story, Liberty City Stories, Grand Theft
the
Auto Three,
PSP
but
games,
you know
like a whole,
they
like a
had a
whole bunch of
DS game, Chinatown Wars. You know,
yeah.
or
And
they
then
had a bunch.
When
But
GTA 5 came out, everything stopped.
yeah,
Like
well, it's
every
also things are just so different now, right? It costs so much more money. I know it's not the biggest excuse in the world because you need to know how to handle your money. But the Rockstar we knew and grew up and loved, it's not the same. Like after Red Dead 2,
no.
there's something going on. There's some trouble. They have a lot of studios. They can make a lot of money. I'm playing LA Noire right now, and that game was fantastic. We'll never see a sequel to that game, right?
And they said I don't know if you read some of their latest investors or earnings report. They talked about Red Dead Redemption Online
Mm-hmm.
and how it saw an increase in its players logging in. I'm calling that bullshit right now. That's fucking horseshit. And that game
Probably.
has that online has been out. There's been no love for that online. Absolutely nothing. That online has been. I think there's two or three different types of expansions that came out for GTA Online before that one came out.
Yeah.
Like that game has no love, like at all. I mean, the single player, like there's no DLC. You know what I mean? Like anything, like for that game. That game has
Yeah.
no love at all. I
The
just don't
the
understand
single
it.
player expansion stopped at 4. I would like to see 4 kind of get like a remake treatment or something, or a Red Dead remake or something. I don't know. I just don't see it here. It's hard to have. You don't want to give up hope completely because it's going to be great. But I think you're onto something. There could be a Grand Theft Auto. There's just so much Grand Theft Auto 6 here. So much traction for it. I want to talk about Square Enix. I think you got a good point that Square Enix is going to have uh, Final Fantasy 16 here. They'll show a little bit. I don't know what other projects. Is there a possibility of Final Fantasy 6? Not 60. Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth 2? Do we see
Yes.
Kingdom Hearts 4 here? We already know
Uh,
Rebirth. Final Fantasy 7 remake. Rebirth. The Part 2 version. Final Fantasy 7 remake. We know it's slated to come out next year, right? That's what's supposedly the rumor. So did we see that here?
I do think we see rebirth here. I think we see something to say, hey, it's coming. Remember, their original idea was 16 was supposed to come out, and then part two was supposed to come out like quarter
Winter.
one of 2024,
Yeah.
right? I don't know if that's still the case anymore. I think that's more like it's going to be a summer game,
Mm-hmm.
summer next year. But they were really working on the year of Final Fantasy, the way
Mm-hmm.
that they made it sound.
Well, they
Like,
did. They had a butt ton of Final Fantasy announcements, right? Mobile phone games, the remake of Crisis Core. Well, the remakester, I like to call it, the remakester of Crisis Core.
and they brought the Pixel remastered to the consoles,
It's a
and
remaster to console, like you said, yeah. And then we've seen a lot of 16, and 16's on the Game Informer cover, and it's going to be good. I think 16. I think it's safe to put money on that 16 will probably be a Game of the Year nominee. It's going to be really good. I think it's going to be really good. I would like to see some Rebirth. Is it another trailer though, or are we going to see actual gameplay?
I don't know. If the way that they're talking, we should see gameplay, right?
Yeah,
Or maybe they'll have something down the line.
that was
Um,
that was my gut reaction too. Like how
they
they're
did.
talking
They
about
did the
it.
16. Yeah, maybe you just get like a cinematic trailer here.
Yeah,
So, um, but yeah, I definitely do think Rebirth will be here. I don't know when it's coming, but I also you asked about Kingdom Hearts as well. I don't know when that game is coming out.
yeah.
Uh,
We absolutely know nothing about it, really,
we,
except for that one trailer.
yeah, like we saw one trailer, um, and I assume when is Kingdom Hearts Day? It's like sometime in September, right?
No, I think it's like July or something.
Yeah, because that's when they announced the next this
Mhm.
game or
Yeah.
the four. That maybe they have their own type of event. I do know from their earnings report, and they told their investors they're working on main title games, which is Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts.
Yep.
So Kingdom Hearts is right around the corner. I just don't know if it's
Do
as
we
soon as you think, but it's right around the corner.
do we see a remake of one at any capacity? Do we have any Square Enix remakes on the board? Are we gonna see 8? Are we gonna see 9? That's rumored, right? Are we gonna see any of these here too early? Probably.
Which one was it? 8 was rumored for like 2 years, right? That they were
Hmm.
working on a remake.
Yeah, they were. Yep, it was rumored. Now the 9 rumor is popping up. Now it's like it's 9 now.
So, you know, maybe because I don't know how big Square Enix is, but if they have their whole,
They're huge. They're mega big.
maybe they have somebody working on Rebirth, somebody working on remake 8, and somebody working on Kingdom Hearts.
Hmm.
If
Generally,
they can
that's what
do
they
it,
do. Generally, that's what they do. They have like 3 separate studios working on each game because that's how they were doing it for Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9. Each with a different studio, and then 10 put another
yeah,
studio on. Once they're done with whatever, they put it on 10. Yada yada yada, so forth like that. So they're a huge
quite
company.
possibly.
They got a lot of money, they got a lot of funding, and they could make a lot of projects. Like they could do easily, like they wanted to, they could easily do 10 projects. And they've been doing a lot of different stuff, right? They did the Chaos game, right? They did the Elysium
Chaos.
Chronicles game, they did the um deal God, what was it called? There was like another new game they had that was kind of like Valkyria Elysium remake or something like that. Like
Yeah, that
they had a bunch of other stuff that did. What was the other one too?
Octopath,
Octopath Traveler 2. Yep.
that
They
one didn't get as much love though.
none of those. I think
I,
all 4 of those didn't really do too well, but there was a couple new IPs in there. You know, so
Square
they
Enix has that mentality of like, we love, we don't love all our games, we just love the best ones,
mm,
right? You would say like Octopath Traveler in particular.
eh,
For whatever reason, it didn't get much love.
yeah.
So
I'm sure that one sold well on the Switchy though. I think a lot of the hardcore really liked the first game. They really liked the second game.
I think if I saw correctly that they expect like a high number
They always do.
of
Yeah.
sales, and then it's like they didn't reach that number, and they just kind of like, I don't want to say shit on it like they did with Avengers, but
Yeah. Well,
it's just kind of like we won't talk about it,
Well,
you
yeah,
know.
like I mean, Avengers is gone for them now, right? They sold off a lot of their studio. Do we see a lot of their Western studios? They kept a few. They kept, I think, Tomb Raider and they kept Life is Strange. Do we see Life is Strange or the new Tomb Raider in this one?
We might see the new Tomb Raider. We heard some stuff about it. What was it last year, right?
Yeah.
It was supposedly leaked that they're working on it. Um, no, I don't think so. I think we will see the Final Fantasies here,
Mm-hmm.
but I think they're gonna have something down the road for whatever else they're working on and Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
But you never
Sony
know.
Sony seems to be really aggressive with the Japanese market.
So
Jim Ryan already said they really value Japan. They got they got Final Fantasy 16 exclusive, right? They got Final
yeah,
Fantasy 7 remake as exclusive. They're attacking these guys. They're trying to probably get something from Capcom, right? Capcom's been they've definitely shown they've been the first to show all the
do
Resident Evils on Sony first, right? So
do
they
do we see an announcement here of a studio purchase?
my gut
Do
is
you think
telling me no.
no? You
Yeah,
don't think we see anything?
my gut is telling me no because if they got so many first party stuff, they got a lot of stuff to show, quote unquote. We'll see. We'll see. We're still talking about third party stuff. There's a couple more third parties I really want to talk about before we move on to
Yeah,
first
yeah.
party. Um, and that's Konami. I think we'll see. Rumor popped up. They got Castlevania, they got Metal Gear Solid, and they got obviously Silent Hill 2. Silent Hill 2 remake, we already know it exists, right? I think we'll see actual gameplay this time. We got a trailer reveal a while ago for their for Konami's, I forgot what they called their event, but it was like transmission event or something like that. They had a bunch of Silent Hill things announced, right? But I think we'll see Silent Hill 2 remake. I think it's a console exclusive for Sony, PS5. It's supposed to be coming out, I think, this year in October-ish. I think we'll see it here. I think Silent Hill 2 remake first gameplay reveal here with Sony. I don't know. Do you have any feeling of Castlevania or Metal Gear Solid here? The next one was Metal Gear Solid 3 remake supposed to be here too. That's like the two big ones that are supposed to be here. Silent Hill 2 remake.
Maybe not. Maybe not Castlevania, but maybe we will see because it is Metal Gear Solid. Yeah. Because it's the rumors are kind of almost details now. Yes. It's like we're looking at details of what this game is gonna be about, and usually when that happens, it either is announced soon, or it's just somebody that wishes that rumor was true. They just made it up. But I mean, this rumor's been strong for the last 4 years that they were going to be doing that. They bought it, right? That they bought Castlevania and then
they bought all three of these. Yeah, they bought all three of these. Supposedly, Rhino's reporting that it's coming 2024, the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake. They're planning other Metal Gear Solid titles to be re-released, so maybe remasters. I don't know if they're just gonna put things that are like Metal Gear Solid 4 is still stuck on PS3. It's the only way to play that game is PS3. Maybe they get a remake of that, remaster of that.
Yeah,
but that he reported. That's what he reported, that this is a real thing. It's not Metal Gear 1. It's Metal Gear 3. And there's so many there's so much traction happening for this game now at this event is because there's so many other remakes happening, right? Remake is, and Capcom obviously hit the money on remakes, and then Final Fantasy VII remake was excellent too. So I think it's interesting like that they would start with 3, but 3's technically the first one. It's one of those weird things where Devil May Cry 3 is the first game chronologically in the series, but it came out later, obviously, right? Same thing with Metal Gear Solid 3. Kojima had a habit of this where he was, like, every Metal Gear he would do, he'd be like, I'm done, I'm not doing another one. And then he would do another one. Konami was like, no, dude, you're doing another one. And he would do another one. And he would do Future, and then, like, current Solid Snake, and then he'd go past to, like, old Snake, the original, Big Boss Snake. They would go to him. And they go back and forth. Metal Gear Solid 5 was the last one that came out. Had what? Well, corrupted old Snake, old Big Boss. Very old Big Boss. Should be super old, but he was in that game, so they keep going back and forth. Obviously, he got fired a while ago. He did Death Stranding in the meantime. Death Stranding 2 looks like it's well on its way. They look like they put a lot of fucking time into that game already. So I don't know who would be handling these IPs. I'm assuming Sony would have some good conscience, have good studios working on these. Maybe it's Bluepoint who's doing the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake, right? Everything's trending that we will see that. I do think we'll also see Silent Hill 2. I think Konami's trying to get back in the gaming scene, and if you're going with Sony, that's not a bad way to go, right?
Yeah, it looks like it at this point, right? You go with Sony. Sony's the best, like I said before, in my opinion. So yes.
Yeah.
So you have to go with Sony.
Something really quick about the Silent Hill 2 remake he reported on was supposedly Bloober team blew Konami away with the presentation of Silent Hill 2 remake. So it's supposed to be really good. I know when everybody heard Bloober team, they were like, oh shit. Like, oh no. But maybe they learned. Maybe it's really good. Because I think they're the team that did, what's it called? What's that one Xbox exclusive that it's not exclusive anymore. They have it on PlayStation now. What is it? What was it called?
I know what you're talking about.
Where it had the two like different worlds and stuff, with the girl. It looked very Silent Hill. It was clearly inspired by Silent Hill. I forgot what it was.
Yeah.
But
I know exactly what you're talking about. I just can't think of the name of it.
okay, the last third party I want to talk about really quickly because I don't know if they're gonna even be here is Sega slash Atlas. I just want to go on a limb with one of my predictions. I think there's a possibility we might see Persona. Generally, Persona, they do Persona announcements at concerts and stuff, and I know the concert's happening pretty soon, right? But I think Sony will do one of those things where they'll get a teaser of Persona 6 and they'll be like, oh, hey, you want to see more? See this concert here in Japan, yada, 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 right?
You just broke so many people's hearts by calling it a third party. Oh.
Well, well, Sega and Atlas technically are a third party, but it was a third party exclusive for a long time. Yeah.
Yes.
It was, but doesn't mean that 6 won't be a third party exclusive right away. I think they might hold it. They might get it for. Sony's been really aggressive. You know, they might hold that game for a year or two, right, before it goes on the consoles.
Yeah. Could be.
So I don't know. I don't know if it's the time. Like Atlas has got a lot of things cooking. I don't know if we're gonna see anything here, but I want to go on a limb, and I think we see a teaser trailer of 6. I think there could be a possibility of Persona 6 here. Was there anything you wanted to add with Sega or Atlas at all, Lou? Go ahead.
Yeah, I know it's been rumored that Persona 3 remake, right? I don't know if that might be announced at the concert. I do think they are working on some stuff.
The rumor with Persona 3 remake is that Microsoft show is going to have it, right? That was the newest rumor from Push Square, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I was thinking, okay, if they're going to get 3, Sony's going to try to get one of these bad boys, right?
Yep.
So I would assume 6 would be here. That's my guess, but I don't know. Because there's going to be obviously things we don't know. There's going to be so many surprises on this thing. But again, it's not going to ever reach what people want. You know, people are going to find a way to bitch about something. But I do think there's a possibility we see 6 here. Like, I know they're working on a lot of games. So we got to see something, right?
See, when I thought of this showcase, I think they're going to be very nearsighted with their third-party games. Mm-hmm. Maybe a couple of games like in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was thinking more of Alan Wake 2 was going to be here.
That was a big break that he had today. I don't know if you saw.
Who?
Rhino the Bouncer. Supposedly he had them saying Alan Wake 2 is getting an October launch according to the voice actor, Matthew Parada.
Actually, you know what? I did see something about that, but I think I saw it on one of either IGN or Push Square.
Yeah, so I mean...
The voice actor said it's coming in October.
Yep, right? So that could be a thing here.
Yeah, because when I was thinking about it, I'm thinking, what type of third-party exclusive? Because they can have, a state of play anytime for, stuff that's not ready. And Xbox is going to go nuts for a lot of that third-party stuff.
Supposedly that Ronin game's supposed to be here, too.
What game?
That Ronin game, the Assassin's Creed-like Ronin game.
Mirage or Mirage, right?
No, not Assassin's Creed Mirage. It's a different thing. It's a different studio. But it's like Ronin something. They showed it in a PlayStation State of Play, I think, a year ago. The Rise of the Ronin.
I would have to see.
It's being developed by Koei Tecmo. Sony Interactive will publish it. Combination of technique is the secret to making the game a hit. It's another third party collaboration. Like, you're gonna see a lot of these things come back. Like I said, Stellar Blade. There's gonna be a lot of third party stuff. It won't be as. I think we'll see a decent chunk of first party stuff, but you're gonna see a lot of third party exclusives, or not, if not marketing exclusives here too. I think you're gonna see a lot here. It's an hour plus show, and it's not gonna just all be first party stuff.
No, I don't think so, but I do think it's gonna be a mixture of VR, and my like I said, going with my prediction, it is going to be a lot of games that that are this year and next year.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the games going on for next year we haven't seen yet, right? Like
Yep.
there's that rumor of the Uncharted game, Uncharted 5, so that they're working on.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of stuff that's been rumored over the course of years now that this is probably the chance that we actually get to see it.
So,
And remember, Sony doesn't just have like one or two games for the year.
mm-hmm.
They'll have like three or four, maybe sometimes five exclusives,
Well, they have a lot of
like lined up.
studios. They have a lot of studios. So we'll see. We'll see. But some of that stuff is made up of third-party exclusives too that they'll have for that year as well, a la Final
Right.
Fantasy 16 this year, and Spider-Man, which is first party for them this year. Um, since you brought it up, let's get right into first party. Let's talk about Sony Ben. They tweeted that they cannot wait to show their new IP. Is it gonna be here? Is there a possibility of seeing Sony Ben, the Days Gone developers, last thing they did? They're not doing a Days Gone 2 at this point in time. Um, but is their new IP ready just to even tease yet?
They've been working on this game for a while, and they couldn't take on that Uncharted title, right? Because they were already working on a game.
No,
That's
they
apparently
didn't
what was
want it.
going around.
They didn't want the Uncharted.
Right, right. But they were working on their own game, right? That's why they didn't want
At
to take
first, they
it.
were working. Originally, The Last of Us remake was Uncharted remake. They were working
Right.
on it, and they said no. We want to be taken off. We want to make our own thing. So Sony let them do that. Then Naughty Dog was all right. We'll take it back in. We'll do it. Wait, let's just do Last of Us, and that's what happened. They ended up doing Last of Us.
Yep.
So they scrapped
Um,
that Uncharted remake. The rumor was, I think it was Uncharted 5 or something, and it was a different studio that was doing it. Obviously, not Naughty Dog at this point.
no,
But
Naughty Dog they do their games for like three or four of them, and
yeah,
then that's it. They move on.
and also
Um,
Sony's been. It will be a new IP. I don't think it'll be Uncharted. I don't think it'll be any. It will be something new. The thing is, can we see it here, or is it too early? Is what I'm thinking. It might be a little too. I don't know. Maybe we will see a teaser, right?
yeah. So I don't know if we will see it. I think there's a chance that one of their games or Corey's game will be here.
Yep.
Because the way I thought of it is they're gonna at least show five, maybe six exclusives, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Spider Man is one, Wolverine is the other. The Last of Us factions. I think it's time to see. I mean, Neil already talked about it on what's his name show. Was it Keeley's show? He talked about that they're kind of working on it. So
Well, they've been working on it for a long time. I think you're right with factions. I think that's the one thing we'll see from Naughty Dog. Supposedly they're working on 4 projects.
right.
Supposedly, I think factions will be the one we see. I think it is time to see it here. If we're talking first party, I think we will see factions here. I think it's a possibility of seeing
So
factions.
so if it goes along with my theory, right, it's gonna be, and I'm talking about first party exclusives, not Final Fantasy 16
Mm-hmm.
or Rebirth.
Yeah.
Okay. Um,
No, I agree
it's
with
gonna
you.
be one of their games, and I think it's gonna be a surprise or two. The ones that we didn't even think of.
I think there'll be a couple more. So I think there's a chance they have since they have a lot of studios now. I think there's a chance they'll have some 8 days because we know Sony studios in general, all their studios work on multiple projects at a time, right?
Right.
So I think there's a good possibility of that. I think you brought up a good point. I think they end the show with Corey's space game. I think they could end the show with. We know it's a space game. It has some inspiration of Mass Effect. He really likes the Mass Effect games. He talks about Mass Effect a lot lately. So I think he's giving hints. He's clearly not working on Mass Effect 4. I know a lot of people would love that. But I think his game will be very similar in the vein of Mass Effect. Whatever his space game is going to be. But I think they could potentially end the show with that. I think that could be the show closer, possibly. Because I still think the Sony Marvel, they could have another Marvel game. I think Sucker Punch could have some stuff. Let's like supposedly Sony Santa Monica is working on 3 projects, right? So
Yeah.
so they got
And
they got the
how many
the
of them
space game.
are life of service games, though?
That's a good point. I don't know. I think Factions will be the first big one, right? That is revealed
Right.
from Naughty Dog.
Yep.
And they quote unquote they had that saying that they want what, like a life of service game every year for like 10 years or something, right? But
Yep.
I think Shuhei Oshida said they don't want to bank all their money on life of service games. I think he said they're fine and all, but we have a strength in single player AAA exclusive. So I think that's still going to be the backbone. You're still going to see more of single player stuff. There will be more, like you said. Like they could be working on that. Insomniac did what their studio just jumped huge in a lot of people, like a lot of employees, right? Maybe they're working on a multiplayer type game. So they're coming. I think you're right. I don't know if we'll see any more here. I think Factions will be the start of that. I think that'll be the one. I think Sony's smart enough. They know what their backbone is. They want to see. But like, are we going to see some of the rumors though? Are we going to see like from Sucker Punch? Are we going to see that Infamous remake? Are we going to see Sly Cooper 5? We already know.
I think it's very
here, right.
I think it's very much like you look at every studio. They got maybe 2 or 3 games that they're working on, and theoretically speaking, one of them unfortunately dies because when you work on a game, like they don't all make it. So
that's a very good point you made up. How many games do we know that have died? We don't know many, right?
Yeah, we don't know many.
They happen all the time. They definitely implode and exploded. The last big one I remember was Stig's game for Sony Santa Monica, where he was doing a space game. He was doing the space opera thing, the Mass Effect thing. They shut it down, and all those employees started working on God of War. God of War went from a smaller team to a huge team. I think Sony Santa Monica is obviously in a better place now. They're one of Sony's stronger studios. So
but I just mean in particular with all the studios that Sony has. Because if you look, they'll say, well, we're working on this, and then we're working on this, and then...
We just talked about the Last of Us stuff, right? The Uncharted stuff, right? Like, this happens all... I'm just giving you credit for it. It's a lot of... I think a lot of these studios are in a better place now, is what I'm also trying to get. I don't think necessarily everything's going to die, but I think a lot of these studios are pretty healthy in a good spot.
Well, it's very unfortunate because sometimes, like, you invest so much money, and then they'll look at it like Sony and them, PlayStation will look at it and say, hey, we put in so much money already. If you can't make do what we already gave you, then maybe it's time you work on something else. And unfortunately, a lot of times that's what happens.
Literally with Sony Ben. Days gone.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It happens that way. So this is why I theoretically speak when I say that yes, do I believe that they are working on 2 or 3 games X Studio? Yes. How many of them will make it? Depending on the studio, we may only see 1 game out of them.
Also,
maybe we'll see 2.
Also, to your point, one of those studios, all those studios could be technically working on a multiplayer game, right?
Right.
That could be the initiative that they're trying to do, right? Is that, okay, you got 2 of your single player ones, but you're also going to do this multiplayer one here. Or you're doing, because, like, what's it called? Guerrilla, Horizon's team, right? We know they were doing a first-person shooter forever, right?
Yep.
We still haven't seen it. What is it? Right? We don't know. Like, that could be unveiled here. Like, Sony can have a lot of surprise. I think they will. I just don't think it'll all be everyone's favorite thing. Like, I'm hoping the Sucker Punch rumor is true. It sucks that Ghost is not going to be here, but I'm hoping that we see Sly 5 and Infamous remake. That'd be sick, man. Or even if it's just a new Infamous game. I think it'd be awesome.
Well, people have to start thinking because Sony's just not going to make single-player exclusives. That's their bread and butter. Mm-hmm. And don't get me wrong, that's going to be their number 1 focus.
Yep.
But when you're a business, you're trying to expand, right?
All the time. So, mobile games, all this stuff.
mobile games, life is service,
Yep, and
everything
they
that's going on with Call of Duty and their fears. Maybe they have had a little meeting to say, hey, we don't know if Call of Duty is gonna last,
mm,
if it's gonna be third party forever. Maybe we should go to the drawing board and start creating war games.
also,
SOCOM games like that.
yeah,
Maybe we should start putting what studios do we have that can make a multiplayer shooter game. Hey, let's hit up Bungie. Let's hit up Bungie to see if they would be interested in making something
yeah,
like that.
yeah, they own Bungie
Uh,
now, right? That's kind of weird to say, right? So,
yeah.
I
So
mean, you're making a lot of good points, but I do think the single player train won't stop. I think you're going to see a lot of it here. But you're right; they're going to
no,
expand. They're going to try, and I think you should. As a smart business, you would. You shouldn't stay stagnant. But and
the single player experience will never stop. Like
yeah,
that's gonna be first and foremost. But expanding the PC, even though The Last of Us failed, um, the life of service, to think that they're just gonna like say,
hmm
fuck single player, we're gonna move on to life of service.
yeah,
That would be the stupidest move
yeah,
that
and
they
you're
could
right.
do.
They're not going to do that. You're absolutely right. They
Yeah.
instantly they said Jim Ryan just said recently that they're going to continue to have PC games, but it's going to at least be 2 years after launch. So they want a focus on PS5 right now. Like so when they announce their new big exclusive, it's like Spider-Man 2 is going to be on PS5 first. You got to play it there first. If you want to wait for PC, you're going to wait at least 2 years. That's going to be the rule from now going forward. Which
Yeah, and
it sounds like
that's
it's always
smart.
been the rule anyway. Yeah, it seems like it, but
Well, it might be just that their studios, like maybe they try to produce it just a little too quick,
Mhm.
so they're just not equipped yet to fully put it, on PC right away.
Mhm.
So maybe they need the 2 years to work on it. Like, how long did it take The Last of Us Part One to get to PC?
I think it was
It
like
was a
2 years.
year, right?
I don't know, maybe they. Another thing about that is they bought a lot of PC studios to work on those games now. So I don't the stuff like Last of Us, I don't think you're going to see as much anymore because
No.
they're buying studios to do it. But what he was getting at is we value exclusivity. You're going to play PS5 first. You're gonna have PS5 exclusive first. You can get your PC stuff later.
Yeah, that's always gonna be that we value the console 1st.
Mm-hmm.
But once their studio's a little bit more efficient and
Yeah.
making the PC games, we'll probably see it instead of 2 years, a year.
Yeah.
We'll
Well,
probably see it a
they
year
show them to
later
make
goes to
money.
PC.
PC's making them a lot of money. It's extra money. They're gonna do some mobile game stuff. They want to get into that market a little bit as well. Mario Run and Mario Kart have made a lot of money. Fire Emblem Heroes for Nintendo, they're gonna start doing some of that stuff because that's a moneymaker too. Because not everybody can play on their console. They're gonna play on their phone, whether the bus ride to work, whether a break from work, stuff like that. They're gonna get into that market a little bit. It's gonna be interesting to see. Do you like going back to first party stuff? Do you expect you expect Sucker Punch to be here without without Ghost? Are we gonna see Sly?
I'm gonna go out on the limb and say we do. I say we see a remake of Sly here. I think so. I think they some people probably want the collection, right? Which is what, the 4 games,
Yeah,
and then maybe we see a new one down the road.
yeah.
But
Kind of like what they did with Crash and Spyro, right? Where they did the 3 games, right?
yeah, I think we see something very similar to that. I don't know if we'll get it all in one collection,
Mm-hmm.
but it would be
collections, maybe?
nice to think. Yes,
Like 1
yes,
and
I do
2,
think
3 and
it'll be.
4.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think it's time. I think it's time to bring back Sly. I think it's time to go revisit some of the PS3 exclusives like Twisted Metal,
Yep.
and then say, hey, you know what? Let's make a game,
That's a good.
and then let's get some hype around the show.
That's a good call. Do we see the Twisted Metal game here?
Yeah,
You got any?
Yeah.
other spicy predictions you want to go on a limb on? 'Cause I'm trying to think what other first parties we didn't cover. We covered Factions. We covered Corey's Space Game. I think it's going to end the show. We talked about the Sly possible remake or fifth / Infamous. We already covered Spider-Man 2, and I think Sony probably gets another Marvel game. Wolverine we talked about.
I'm gonna go out on the limb and say we also see the Infamous games here. I think we see that here. Maybe a new installment of an Infamous game.
Yeah. I know Second Son wasn't like the greatest thing. A lot of people love that game, but that game was really fun. It was still really fun to play. Was it the best showstopper to start the PS4? No, but it was really good, though.
The other thing is, I think we see, and this was rumored for a long time, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think we see Second Son here. Remember that game?
Yeah.
Remember Overdrive? Remember that was rumored? Maybe we see that finally get over for next gen console and see what happens.
Wow, that'd be interesting. That'd be cool.
So,
I'd be down to play a PS5 version of that game.
Yep.
You know, I would really be down. Okay. I'm trying to think on a I think the Returnal team is too early to show their game. Blue Point we already talked about, right? That was another first party we talked about. Bungie, I don't think we'll see anything from them yet. Talked about Factions. Possible Uncharted. I don't know who would do Uncharted. We've already talked Insomniac.
I'm interested to see what exactly Uncharted is. Yeah. Like I kind of wish that we went away from the Nathan Drake story, just give that an end and not go with like his brother or Sully. Like we could do that like in a side game.
Yeah.
But I kind of want, like, just because that story was so good to me, I don't want them to continue with his people. I would like them to kind of start over from the ground up with a new treasure hunter. Like, that's what I know people wouldn't like that idea.
Yeah, I don't know. It'd be probably pretty scary for them to do.
Yeah, I mean, it would be scary.
Yeah, because Nathan Drake is so lovable, and that's what people want to see. They want to see Nathan back. So maybe they said, fudge it. We did the Last of Us remake. Why don't we finally remake Uncharted 1, but do it better? Maybe go above and beyond. Where Last of Us remake was shot for shot. It was the same game. It was the same game from 2013.
So do you think, for obviously, if they are doing Uncharted 5 and they don't do what I kind of hope they would do you think that they will continue with Nathan Drake and then eventually leads off to his daughter taking over?
I think we talked about it. This is a good question because I think we talked about it before. I feel like they're going to do the Ellie and Joel thing. I think Nathan Drake will be Sully now. He'll be old man. And his daughter will be the treasure hunter. That's, the new Laura Croft, per se, right? That's what I think they would try to... I think that's what they really want to do. I don't know if they're going to do that, though. I think people really love Nathan. And Nathan could fulfill both roles. But people love Sully, too, right? People love Sam. I really like Sam. I feel like Sam is a very underappreciated character in Uncharted 4. I like him a lot. Is he a bastard? Yeah. But,
I just kind of wish we would go... I just kind of wish we would go away from...
That saga, right?
Yeah, because I feel like with Nate, I think we're done. I think the story's done, right? A Thief's End.
It was a perfect send-off to him, too. I mean, it was well done. Really.
So maybe you're right, they could do that. Maybe it starts off with the main character being a girl in her mid-20s, and then by the end of the game, or you can have like a little teaser of like Nathan walking in and you find out that that's his daughter. But that's kind of like the end game. It's like you find out, oh snap, that's Nathan Drake's daughter. Yep. Like, something like that. But I don't know. That's
a good point. I mean, they could do something like that. They could even they literally could just take what you just said and put it in a trailer and people will go nuts. Like people will go nuts. Like we're like, who's this? What is this fucking game? What's this new? Okay, all right. And then you see old man Nathan, like say his line. You ready, kiddo, or whatever. I mean, that's Joel's line. Sorry, but whatever he called, I don't remember. I want to replay Uncharted 4 and Platinum. It's the one I don't have Platinum, and I need to go back.
Do we see? Do we see anything from Sackboy?
I would like the Sackboy too, but I don't think so. I don't think we'll see anything from Media Molecule here, or that. I know that studio didn't do Sackboy. Somebody else did Sackboy. I don't know. I would like a Sackboy too. I think that game's another underappreciated game.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like unfortunately, we live in a product of if you're not a 9 or 10, it's a bust now. Like right, like you can't even be an 8 anymore. It's 9 or 10, or you suck now. Like unfortunately, and Sony's had a good job of not feeling that pressure. They just make the games they want. Same thing with Nintendo. They do not give a F. They just make the games they want. Microsoft's in a different boat. They cannot seem to make a quality game at the moment. So I'm interested to see how Starfield comes out. This fall. But I think there's a lot of surprises. We're probably missing some studios in our head. Was there any other predictions you had? I do think if they were to do Uncharted 5, that's the direction they would go. New Lara Croft, Sully, Nathan Drake. Because can you really take the treasure hunter? They might even do a weird thing and kill off Elena. Well, they could just write her off or say she had cancer and this was like her last note. It was a secret place for treasure or something. Or
I would feel like,
or maybe she looks for a cure for her mom or something. I don't know. They could do something weird like that.
It would be uncharacteristic though, right? Because for Elena, she didn't want them to. She didn't want him to go back and do the treasure hunting stuff.
Yeah, well, any normal wife would have probably broken up with. Right? Like obviously, that was a really good moment in that game in Uncharted 4. It was really excellent. Nathan finally kind of taking the treasure hunter out of it. Like I said, Thief's End was a perfect send-off for him. But I feel like they even said it themselves, though. If they ever wanted to come back, that's why they placed the daughter there. Is for her to take over the mantle. And I just feel like her and her dad, they could try to do that new Indiana Jones thing, which is not doing well review-wise, right? But having older man Indy and then newer, younger female lead, like I think they could do it. And Sony's done a good job. Like I like Aloy. I like a lot of the female characters they're making. Space Grandma. I like Space Grandma and Returnal. As Rollo would say, like I really like that game a lot. I think that game is really well done. It's really interesting. We'll see. I mean, that's kind of the new thing to have female leads and stuff. We'll see how it shakes out at the end of this. I'm very excited. Like I don't have. I'm trying to think of a couple more predictions, but I don't really have any. I don't know if we'll see Witcher 1 remake here. I don't think we'll see Max Payne 1 or 2 remake here.
No.
I think those are too early for those games. Alan Wake is the one that you said earlier. I think that's the one we see from Remedy, is Alan Wake 2. I think, and if it comes out in October, that's big, man. That's a huge year for horror. You got Resident Evil 4, Silent Hill 2, and then you got Alan Wake.
So to wrap up, like my idea here, I said I think we see at least 5 or 6 exclusives. I named the 3. I named the 3 definite in my mind, which was The Last of Us multiplayer, Spider-Man 2, Wolverine. And I'll first party, and Wolverine, and then one of Corey's game or whatchamacallit's game here, and then it's gonna be surprises. I think we're gonna see a lot of surprises. VR2 stuff, that could be added in there. I think we will see a healthy.
VR2 will be in there. They already said it will be. I just don't know if they're gonna. I think that's gonna be a midway show thing. The VR2
I think it's going to be healthy. Yeah, it's going to be the one that's in the middle of the show.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, Yeah, it's gonna be a healthy love of that. I don't know if it's gonna be overwhelming, but we'll
Yeah,
see.
I say at least 5 minutes worth of VR2 stuff, which is a lot. I think that's a lot, actually.
Yeah,
I think they will do that. I know some people would be like, oh, we want more, but I think 5 minutes is good enough for VR2. I know it hasn't drastically sold well, but the headset is so much better. Like it is. I was watching EJ play all that stuff at like it's a lot better. They did a lot better job on that
it's
stuff.
it's always gonna have that stigma though because one, the price tag, and
Yep.
two, it's got one wire.
Yep. The
Oh,
wireless, not for it not being wireless, but
yeah,
they
it's
knew if
always
they
gonna
did a
have that stigma.
wireless, knowing Sony, if they did a wireless headset, it'd be like $1,000, and they're smart enough to know that people will not buy
Yeah,
a headset for $1,000, you know, and that's why it's kind of lower end ish. It's much better than Part One, you know, VR1, um,
yep.
but it is a hefty tag. It's hard to like VR. It's hard to get into that world. I know everybody wants that Sword Art Online experience or dot hack experience. Not the death and shit, but just you put your headset on, you're in another world, you can just walk around, do shit, right? They're just not there
Well,
yet.
it's a lot of funds right now.
Yep.
It's a lot of funds for something that I mean, there's no breakthrough game
Yep.
to
There's
really
no
put VR on the map.
mega app. Yeah, there's no mega app yet for that, but I'm with you. I think we're gonna see Corey's game. I think we'll end the show. I think we start out with Spider-Man. I think there's gonna be a big third-party presence here.
Yep.
Capcom, Konami. I think possibly Sega and Atlas. I don't know. That's probably a stretch, but I went on a limb on that anyway. Uh, what was the other one? Square obviously will be here. There'll be other third parties too. We don't know the Western third parties that will be here, like Rockstar. Like you said, maybe that will be here. Grand Theft Auto 6. They're gonna have some cool shit. We didn't even talk about Take Two or 2K. Their Bioshock 4 could be here. There could be a lot of stuff, but uh, we had a lot of fun. We're glad to be back. Sorry for the wait. This will be uploaded tomorrow. Uh, Make sure you smash the hell out of the like button. Comment down below. What are your predictions for the Sony showcase? We're excited. It was a fun ride talking about it. We'll see. We'll see you guys on probably next week's episode where we talk about the aftermath of all this. But I've been your fellow Strauss fan of the GG. Let's skip to my Lou, the tribal chief. We out.
See ya.